Abdulmecid I became Sultan of the Ottoman Empire in 1839. He was only 16 years old. Imagine the weight of an empire on such young shoulders. Abdulmecid inherited an empire in crisis. This was not the powerful Ottoman Empire of old. He was determined to save his empire. His vision? To drag the Ottomans into the modern world. He knew change wouldn't be easy. Many clung to old ways. But Abdulmecid was no ordinary sultan. He was a reformer, a modernizer, a leader who dared to dream of a brighter future for his people. Abdulmecid I took the throne during a time of great change and upheaval. It was the 19th century. Europe was changing rapidly. The Industrial Revolution had begun in England, bringing new technologies and ideas. European powers were growing stronger, expanding their empires. The Ottoman Empire, once a mighty power, was struggling to keep up. It was a vast empire, stretching from North Africa to the Middle East and parts of Europe. But it was facing challenges from within and outside its borders. By the 19th century, the Ottoman Empire was called the sick man of Europe. Nationalists within the empire demanded independence. The Ottomans had lost territory to European powers. The economy was weak, and the once feared Ottoman army was lagging behind European rivals. Abdulmecid I knew things had to change. He knew the Ottoman Empire had to modernize to survive. He looked to Europe, studying their reforms and advancements. He saw the need for a stronger army, a fairer legal system, and a more educated population. Abdulmecid's answer to these challenges was the Tanzimat Reforms. Tanzimat means reorganization in Ottoman Turkish. These reforms aimed to modernize the Ottoman Empire from the inside out. They touched upon every aspect of Ottoman society. They were a series of laws and changes introduced between 1839 and 1876. These reforms aimed to modernize the Ottoman Empire and catch up with European powers. They aimed to create a more modern, centralized, and efficient state. Section 5. The Rose Garden Edict, a promise of equality. One of the most important reforms was the Rose Garden Edict of 1839. It promised equality for all Ottoman citizens, regardless of their religion or ethnicity. This was a radical idea in an empire where different religious and ethnic groups often lived separately. The edict aimed to create a more unified and equal society. This was a bold move and a significant step towards creating a more modern and just Ottoman state. It aimed to ensure that all subjects were treated equally under the law. Section 6. Modernizing the Army, Reforming the Law. Abdulmecid I knew that a strong military was vital for the survival of his empire. He reformed the Ottoman army, taking inspiration from European models. New military schools were established. Modern weapons and tactics were introduced. The legal system was outdated and needed change. New law codes were introduced, based on European legal systems. These reforms aimed to create a fairer and more efficient legal system. Section 7. Seeds of Change, Education and its Impact. Abdulmecid I believed that education was the key to progress. He invested in education, establishing new schools and universities. Subjects like math, science, and European languages were introduced into the curriculum. These educational reforms aimed to create a more skilled and knowledgeable workforce. For the first time, women were allowed to attend school. The goal was to create a more modern and educated population. Section 8. Winds of Resistance, Opposition to Reform. Not everyone welcomed the Tanzimat Reforms. Conservative groups within the Ottoman Empire resisted change. They saw these reforms as a threat to their traditional way of life and their power. Some felt that Abdulmecid was going too far, too fast. They worried about the influence of European ideas. Despite opposition, Abdulmecid I pushed forward with his reforms. He believed they were essential for the survival of his empire. Section 9. A Legacy of Progress and Unfinished Business. Abdulmecid. The first reforms were a turning point in Ottoman history. They marked a significant attempt to modernize the empire and save it from decline. The Tanzimat reforms did not solve all of the Ottoman Empire's problems, but they did lay the groundwork for a more modern, centralized, and efficient state. The reforms continued after Abdulmecid's death in 1861. His successors continued his work, introducing new reforms. The Ottoman Empire continued to face challenges, both internal and external. What do you think? What was the most significant impact of the Tanzimat reforms on the Ottoman Empire?